And this is how the engine sounded at the start of the test. And it's finally over for the steel shavings Predator at very close to 100 minutes. I have to admit the engine lasted quite a bit longer than expected, and the spark plug has quite a bit of carbon buildup on it. Let's check out the damage inside of the engine. I'll first remove the muffler and then the spark plug. The valve cover is off, so let's take a look inside. And there's metal all over this engine, and the valves are definitely out of adjustment. Let's keep taking this thing apart. I need to go ahead and drain the rest of the fuel out of the fuel tank. That doesn't sound good. Definitely a lot of damage inside the engine. Now that we have most of the parts out of the way, let's take a look at the motor oil. That's some really dark, nasty looking oil. I'll place a magnet inside the oil and let's see if we can gather some metal. And there's quite a bit of metal inside this oil. Let's go ahead and remove the cylinder head. And there's a lot of carbon and metal buildup on the valves and cylinder head. And that's a lot of carbon buildup on the exhaust valve. As expected, the intake valve looks pretty good. And the cylinder wall on this engine has very deep lines carved into it. And the oil is definitely getting past the piston rings, which explains all the exhaust smoke. Let's remove the side cover and then we'll see what's causing the engine knock. And the camshaft experienced some visible wear from the metal shavings. And the connecting rod cap has a big problem. The cap on the bottom has an arm that splashes oil around the engine. At some point in the test, the arm did break off and that's why the engine smoke slowed down. The inside surface of this connecting rod cap also experienced a lot of damage. And the big end is also badly damaged. And the piston ring has some very deep scratches and so does the crankshaft. So the steel shavings destroyed this engine. The substance called silicon is found in motor oil and it can be several things, but it's commonly dirt or sand. When an air filter becomes compromised or whenever someone runs an engine without an air filter, the engine and engine oil can become contaminated. Let's go ahead and add a full tank of fuel and just about a full crankcase of oil to the sand engine. The spark plug looks new now and we'll see if it looks just as new when we're finished with the test. With the compression release working properly, the Predator is at 45 psi. Most of the dirt and sand made it into the engine. And this is the second engine in a row that started on the first pull. These new Predator engines sound great without knocks, ticks, or rattles. After a minute and a half into the test, everything is going well for the engine. At just under 12 minutes, the sand is really beginning to take a toll on the engine. Unfortunately, the engine is making quite a bit of noise. At just over 22 minutes, the engine is becoming quite a bit louder. At 33 minutes, the engine noise is becoming more intense, but there's still no exhaust smoke. And the test has been underway for about 45 minutes, and the engine is becoming progressively louder. It sounds like quite a bit of valve train noise at this point, but still no exhaust smoke. And we're now at 50 minutes into the test, and the Predator is blowing quite a bit of smoke. At an hour and 5 minutes, this thing is blowing more smoke than a politician on a campaign trail. Trust me, there are no mosquitoes or politicians in the shop right now. At 84 minutes, the engine is still making a lot of noise and blowing quite a bit of smoke. It's hard to believe that this engine is still running. So the question is, will the sand engine outlast the metal shavings engine, which made it to around 100 minutes? And the sand machine has outlasted the metal shavings engine and is still holding in there at 102 minutes. And it's been about 110 minutes, and this engine is very loud and something has to give soon. And there's a lot less smoke coming from the engine as it's burned off most of the oil that's in the crankcase. And it's finally over for the engine at just over 2 hours, which is actually pretty impressive and a lot better than anticipated. Let's go ahead and remove the spark plug and see how it looks. Now that's a lot of carbon buildup on a spark plug.